Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is well wherever they're sitting and are sitting in comfort, and welcome to the Effie entry workshop session. We're not going to take up too much of your time, and because we don't want to waste your time, we know you're very busy. So in being very busy, we are going to go through this workshop. So we'll take questions at the end. It will be myself and Mpumi Ngobese, who's one of my ACA board members, and she sits on the Effie committee, who'll be presenting this workshop to you. So let's rock and roll. It's so uncomfortable because I don't see you guys. Okay, what are we going to go through? We're going to just introduce you to the Effies. For those that are new, you know that we did this presentation before, but we did it in 2020. And when we did it in 2020, that was the first time we did it, but we've managed to cut it down and make it a little bit trimmer and slimmer. COVID gave us the time to actually do that. But we know some of us were sitting at home and getting COVID bodies, but this presentation kind of slimmed down rather than getting a COVID body. So we are going to go into the introduction of Effies, the competition process, writing an effective entry, and showing you two case studies. The one case study we'll do in a little bit more detail. The other case study will just show you the creative reel so that you can get a feel of what a creative reel should look like. And then we'll ask you to start getting involved with us as the Effies. So what is Effie all about? Effie is there to lead, inspire, and champion the practice and practitioners of marketing effectiveness. Defining effectiveness within Effies. Well, there are 4 pillars within Effies where which are the assessment methods for Effies. So the 4 pillars we need to focus on are challenge, context, and objectives, which count to 23% of what you get scored for. Insight and strategic ideas, another 23%, 23.3, let me be correct and factual. And bringing ideas to life, another 23.3%. And results becomes the 30% of your entry. So in the entry portal, it will guide you and it will remind you of the weight that every pillar holds within your entry. So Effie is more than an awards show. Effie is a forum for the industry. So for us, it's how we get together and celebrate effectiveness, marketing effectiveness, that is. So it is important that you participate, you engage, you become part of our Effie family. As the ACA, we've now launched Effies officially, and in 2021, COVID or no COVID, we are going to make sure we do this thing and we celebrate marketing effectiveness. The competition process.
Hi everybody. So I will be walking you through the logic of the process. So here you see the deadlines and the entry prices. It's all in 3 tiers. So firstly, the entries open on Monday, the 29th of March. We have an early bird deadline, that being on the 10th of June at midday, where we've got an entry price for ACA members at 3,500 Rand. An entry price for non-ACA members at 4,200 Rand. The next deadline would be the on-time deadline on the 24th of June at midday, where the entry price for the ACA members is 4,375 Rand, and for non-ACA members at 5,250. And the last minute deadline is on the 15th of July at midday, where the entry price for the ACA members is 6,563 Rands, and for non-ACA members, it's 7,876 Rands. With regards to the categories, so we've got two big categories with a lot of subcategories underneath that. So we've got industry category and a specialty category. Within the industry category, you will find the likes of alcoholic beverages, automotive, beauty and fragrance, cannabis, delivery service, and more. And within the specialty, you'll find the likes of youth marketing, brand experience, marketing disruptors, media innovation, influencer marketing, etc. And with regards to case submissions, so entrants may submit a case, so that is one case, into a maximum of 4 categories, with no more than 1 industry category and no more than 2 commerce and shopper categories, those being in the specialty categories. With regards to the judging process and the events, application for judges opens on Wednesday, the 14th of April, and it closes on Friday, the 4th of June. I implore everybody to please apply for the judging process. And the structure is as follows. We'll have a judges induction on the 29th of July. Then we'll have round 1 of judging on the 12th of August. In round 1 judging, we invite the likes of the middle management, so the BUDs, the strategists, the brand managers, to apply for judging in round 1. Then in round 2, which is the final round, that'll be on the 2nd of September. And in the final round, we invite the agency's executive teams and the client C-suite to participate in that final round. Then we will announce the finalists on the 14th of September. Then we will have the Grand Effie judging on the 11th of October. The Grand Effie judging, we invite the likes of the C-suites to participate in that round and the agency execs. And then lastly, we will combine the Effie Summit and the Gala so that it happens on the 14th of October.
The Effie Awards are
Okay, so before I play the video, this is a video that illustrates how the judges will evaluate each case. So yeah, just relax and have a look and enjoy.
The Effie Awards are a global symbol of achievement, recognising marketing effectiveness for over 50 years. And being an Effie judge is a pivotal role in continuing this legacy. Here are a few things to remember as you evaluate the cases. 1. The scoring. You will score cases from 10 to 100 using the 4 Effie scoring pillars: challenge, context and objectives, insights and strategic idea, bringing the idea to life, results. Results are weighted more heavily, but the total score is more important. 2. The approach. Assess each case study carefully. Look for challenge and context. Is there enough information about the category, brand, and competitors to evaluate the case? Do the goals address the challenge? Clarity. Is the case study clear and concise? Connectivity. Did the idea, execution, and results reflect the objectives and challenge? Remember, Effie has no predetermined definition of effectiveness. That means all types of objectives and results are eligible. 3. The video. Creative reels showcase the execution of the work. So, focus on the effectiveness and creativity of the work, not the production value of the reel itself. 4. The analysis. Look at the objectives and how challenging it was to meet them. Insights. The big idea. How the idea was brought to life. And results. Then ask yourself, did the campaign do its job? Is it compelling? Did it drive significant results? 5. The awards. Entrants must meet a minimum score to be eligible to become a finalist, and also to be considered for a Gold Effie, Silver Effie, Bronze Effie. Important, the number of participants in a category has no impact on the number of trophies awarded. If the total score for any case isn't high enough, no award is given. This keeps the standards high and the awards meaningful. 6. The feedback. Your feedback on each case is crucial. It helps improve future entries, the practice of effective marketing, and the entire industry. Be diligent, be detailed. And remember, winning is not based on scope, size, duration, budget. Winning is based on strength across all scoring pillars, clear demonstration of effectiveness, and successfully achieving the objectives. The factors that determine success in one category may differ from another category, so judge according to how the category is defined. Voila, you're ready to judge. Thank you for taking part in making Effie the gold standard for effectiveness in the marketing industry.
Okay, guys, thank you, Mpumi, for taking us through the judging. I'd just like to reiterate and highlight a certain point, which I know was a huge bugbear last year when we launched Effies, was the pricing of Effies. And as you can see, the pricing is relatively lower than where we had started in 2020. But 2020, remember, when we presented in January 2020, we didn't think we would have a COVID situation globally. So we've had the COVID situation, businesses have struggled, and in businesses struggling, we then had to negotiate, as the ACA, negotiate with Effie Worldwide to say, our businesses cannot afford the 7.5. So that's how we've brought the price down to the base price being 3,500 for ACA members. But understanding that when we continue, we are likely to continue at a higher price in year 2, year 3. So this is not a price that's going to be here with us forever. It's here with us because of the pandemic and how business is struggling during the pandemic. So in order to encourage people to enter, we had to negotiate for the price to be dropped, which thankfully Effie Worldwide agreed to, because even our base price at 3,500 is lower than what the base price for Apex was. Apex was at 4,500, and we said we want to even go lower, which is at 3,500. And we're playing open cards with you. This is the situation. But moving right along, I will now take you through writing an effective entry. Okay, as we talk about the 4 pillars, strategic communication, challenges and objectives. Do not retrofit your objectives to match your results, because then you're not telling your story in terms of what were the objectives that you started off with and what was the communication solution you applied in achieving those objectives. Elements are assessed for both sustainability and ambitiousness within the framework of the challenge. So we look at how ambitious were you in achieving what needed to be achieved. If you did not have specific objectives up front, explain this and explain why you didn't have specific objectives, but then tell us what your business solution or your marketing solution, what was it answering? Objectives and KPIs should relate to your business challenge. Objectives and KPIs should relate to your business challenge. Sorry, I repeated the sentence there. So with regards to strategic communications, challenges, and objectives, it is important for you to state your objectives up front. The idea, insights coming from previous judges, as you can see on screen, we talk about the restatement of what you needed to achieve is not an insight. The stronger the business and consumer insight, the better the communication plan. Then we look at the big idea. Many of the idea articulations were not ideas. They were descriptions of what the program was, not the idea behind it. So it is important that you express what the big idea was. The idea is the pivot which turns the smart analysis of the problem into a unique solution that none of our competitors could emulate. So it couldn't be copied. You were the only one who had that solution. You are the only one that had that idea. So it's important for you to demonstrate that. Bringing the idea to life. The judges' comments were common. Entrants need to better address the media strategy. Show the connection between the communication strategy and the media. So in terms of communication, what the big idea was, how did you then distribute it to your end consumer? Through the media that you've chosen to reach your consumer. Tie the communication strategy directly back to the objectives and insights. Without that, it's just a media plan, not a communication strategy. And also demonstrate this on your creative reel. The best reels told a cohesive story but did not spend a lot of time on the setup, given that we had already reviewed the written material. Also remember, when judges judge, they do not look at your creative reel first. They look at the three areas in terms of your communication challenges and objectives, your big idea. They look at your written case first, then they look at your creative reel. If the two do not sync, then they are disconnected and you'll get penalized for that. Results. Most common judge comments tie results back to objectives. Provide a context. What is the industry norm? Give us the benchmarks. Let's understand what the benchmarks are. What were the pre and post measures? Include category context, as judges may not be aware of your particular category because they've never worked in your category. So you need to give a setup so that judges understand what your setup and what your environment was like. Prove your case. Eliminate any other factors that judges may think contributed to your success. Strongest cases, from some of the judges' comments, strongest cases immediately and overtly tied back to objectives. Don't quote performance against projections. Define it with the context and historical data and industry benchmarks. Tie together the story of how your work drove the results. The best case did this seamlessly. The worst case just threw the results out. There is somehow a self-evident proof of the value of the work without explaining the why or how. Sorry, I can't see the screen I'm reading from, I can't see. So, being blind. Storytelling, going on to storytelling. Be direct, concise, and compelling. Judges are reading multiple cases in a session, so you need to entice the judge to be able to read and understand your case. Tell your story with personality and heart. Don't be cold, because when you are cold, we can see it. Proofread. If you've been writing the case, give it to somebody else to read it for you, because if you get multiple people to read it, you get multiple eyes that will pick up mistakes that you didn't pick up. So it is important that you get other people to proofread for you if you don't proofread. Include clear, simple, relevant charts and tables. Clearly link each part of your story. So remember, don't just put charts and we don't know what is the context of these charts. How you just throw in a chart and it's like, but you never mentioned this result that is indicated in the chart in the case. They need to link back to one another so that they make a seamless flow and we understand your story and the story you're trying to tell. And also it is important that we see personality in your writing and we see the passion of what you've achieved and in your writing. If we don't see that, we can see that you are not passionate about submitting this case.
Effective marketing equals effective storytelling. We celebrate those stories and their storytellers. Ideas that work, the brave, the best partnerships, and the strongest cases that prove it. So bring us your best work and build a powerful case for it. Here are 7 ways to really stand out and maybe even win an Effie. 1. Give your story context. Context is king. 2. Tell an engaging story with connectivity and confidence. 3. Be concise, clear, compelling. Make it short and impactful. 4. Tell it with honesty, authenticity, and simplicity. 5. Write for your audience. Hint, your peers. 6. Show us the results. How did your work make a difference? And why did it matter? 7. Make sure you proofread a lot. So to review, tell us what you did, why you did it, how you did it, and what resulted from it. We are in the business of effective marketing, so tell it like you mean it.
Okay, those were 7 tips for writing an effective entry. So what I said, they said better than I said it. So I hope you've got it. Okay, moving right along. Some of the judges' feedback in writing an effective entry, consider the fact that the person who's reading it may be a creative mind, a media mind, or analytical mind. Try to appeal to all by making it very easy and enjoyable and an entertaining read. The Effie judges work in this field. They know exactly how to reverse engineer goals, revise metrics, adjust goals. Simple, honest statements work much better than things written for a cold and distant jury. Every part of the story should logically tie back to the points being made. Simpler is better, and it's easier to get for the audience you are writing for. I'm not going to go through this. This is more judges' feedback that the international judges gave entrance. You are going to get a copy of this presentation, so don't panic and say you're missing out on stuff. We'll send you all of the material. We'll email it to you, and we'll make sure you get this material. So I'm not going to read through this. So in going through 2 case studies, we look at the Airbnb case study, which we've gone through before, but for the new people who, Airbnb won a gold Effie in 2017. And basically Airbnb was, strapline was, don't go there, live there. So I'm not going to go too much into detail because we will be sending you the material so you will be able to engage with it much better. So the challenge, context, and objectives was scaled globally without losing Airbnb's soul. In terms of their objectives and their KPIs, was awareness and consideration in terms of objectives. Awareness, create immediate uplift in global aided awareness, directly correlated with nights booked on Airbnb. And the consideration, make sure that people not only saw us, but would actually consider traveling with us. That was Airbnb's objectives. The KPIs, marked increase in aided awareness in core investment markets, two-thirds or more of each market's projected annual goal. In China, there was no precedent in China. So in terms of the Airbnb had never launched in China. So this was the first real foray into the market with a major campaign. Past consideration shifts averaged 3% during campaign periods over the past 1.5 years. So the goals in the US was an increase in a 9% increase, annual goal of 12%. In France was 10% increase, annual goal of 15%. China, as we said, no precedent, and global was 4%. So insights and strategic ideas. Airbnb lets you travel like you live there.
Travel is the most aspirational thing in the world, but the reality is, it can look like this.
I'm standing in the middle of Times Square. I can't even begin to explain to you how incredibly crowded this place is.
Everyone's going to the same places. Everyone's taking the same f***ing picture. It's so bad, it's become a medical disorder. But there's a better way. In 2016, Airbnb set out to capture the world's attention by challenging everyone to stop traveling like tourists and start traveling like they live there. Don't go to Paris. Don't tour Paris. And please don't do Paris. Live in Paris. When you Airbnb in Paris, you have your own home. Make your bed. Cook. You know, the stuff you normally do. Don't go to LA. Don't go to New York. Don't go to Tokyo. Live there. Live in Malibu. Live in the East Village. Live in Shinagawa. Feel at home. Anywhere. Do your regular routine. Wherever you go, don't go there. Live there. Even if it's just for a night. We were a travel brand telling people not to travel, with spots focusing on popular destinations with a reputation for mass travel. Don't go to Tokyo. Don't tour Tokyo. And please don't do Tokyo. Live in Tokyo. Airbnb a place in Shinagawa. Or a loft in Ibizu. Try Toro. Try this. Be polite and slurp. Have Yoshi tell you about the time you rode an ostrich. Act like you've done this before. Wherever you go, don't go there. Live there. Even if it's just for a night. Don't go to LA. Live in LA. When you Airbnb, you have your own home. So, live there. Even if it's just for a night. After the spots premiered, the conversation continued on digital and social, giving travelers a view into the authentic, local experiences that make a trip on Airbnb so special. We even developed a first-of-its-kind 3D cinema experience to allow viewers to see and feel the difference of traveling on Airbnb. Around the world, print and out-of-home celebrated real moments of living, not traveling. In South Korea, out-of-home units were localized to help travelers overcome the fear of something new. We updated them in real time with real guest-submitted moments from actual Airbnbs. And in China, a partnership with content powerhouse Eat Solo introduced travelers to local hosts through the universal language of food. This global idea became central to Airbnb's entire user experience, with CEO Brian Chesky championing the campaign as a guiding principle for the brand's future.
And the campaign is called Don't Go There, Live There. Now, this isn't just an idea, it's a reality as well. And so we have newly designed apps that will allow you to live there even more so than today.
Breakthrough was extraordinary. This was Airbnb's most successful campaign to date in every market. And a new audience of travelers learned what it meant to stop going there and start living there, even if it's just for a night.
All right, so you saw how a creative reel is put together. So that will be the expectation when you have to put your creative reel together. But within our market, we do a 4-minute creative reel and a 30-second cut down of it. So you'll need to submit those two reels together. So when we look at the results of the Airbnb campaign, you can see in terms of the shift in aided awareness, in France was 13%, and as you can see, US 17%, South Korea, and China, which there was no precedent, is 6%. Aided awareness by subgroup, and we're looking at July 2016 versus April 2016 versus July 2016. So here you see in terms of target market, have kids and don't have kids, and in terms of where the aided awareness, how the aided awareness shifted that within the two, if you compare the two different markets. Consideration shift, those who consider using Airbnb, you can see within France, it's sitting at 6%, and US 8%, South Korea 8%, oh, but the graph looks wrong, 8%, China 7%. I'm just going to share another case with you guys, which was for Burger King, and they won a 2020. They were a 2020 gold winner. So I'll share this case with you guys.
We're just here to order the Whopper. Whopper?
This is McDonald's.
Yeah.
And
No, we don't have it. We don't have
wait, you don't have the Burger King Whopper here?
We don't have Whoppers here. This isn't Burger King.
No. The app for Burger King. You see it?
I believe you. I see it, but we don't have that.
So we can come to McDonald's and get a Whopper, yeah?
Maybe in another state.
It says buy a 1-cent Whopper at McDonald's.
That's crazy.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get my Whopper.
Have you heard about the crazy Whopper deal?
Yeah, everybody's been asking, but like we never heard of it ever.
Can you do a Whopper Junior?
They probably can make that. It wouldn't be as good as Burger King would, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's Burger King. This is McDonald's, sweetie.
Well, I pushed on here and it said order a Whopper for a penny at McDonald's.
That's a lie. That's a fake thing.
Okay, where's the Burger King?
4 blocks to your left.
Okay. All right. So that case, I just wanted to show you the creative reel. If you want the detailed case, we can provide the detailed case to you. If you would like the detailed case, because we've got a copy of the case that will then show you the challenges and objectives, the results, the big idea, the insights, and we can share that case study with you if you would like to see that as well. Okay, we talk about getting involved. There are lots of areas within Effie's for the entire industry to get involved. We'd like some of you who are sitting there to become judges. We'd like some of you to, before I go there, I'd like to introduce our committee, our Effie committee. This is our committee that everything you see that happens around Effie, you can ask any one of these people. Some of them are sitting within your agencies. Some of them are sitting within the ACA. And anything you need with regards to Effies, you can direct it to any of the people you see sitting on this table. Get involved. Enter. Go to effieawards.co.za. Entries open on the 29th of March, as Mpumi expressed. So don't forget. And you've got enough time this time, because I remember the last time everybody was complaining, oh, we don't have time, we don't have time. Now you've got enough time to enter the cases that you want to enter, which you think achieved marketing effectiveness. Get involved in judging. These were the previous judges that were sitting on the Apex jury. It's a huge engagement. It's an industry engagement. So we'd like everybody to apply to become a judge, because when you apply to become a judge, you can also, we can also recommend you for international judging. If you are a good judge and we can see that, you know what, you take marketing effectiveness seriously and you're passionate about it and you celebrate the right people and the good people in how you engage in the judging process. So please, we'd like, when judging opens, please apply to become judges. But we'll remind you, This is not the last time we're telling you about judging. We will remind you when the time comes. If you need any additional resources, Effie case database, there are case studies on the Effie.org site. For us, we don't have databases because we haven't started Effies yet. But you can look at other countries who've had the Effie program running for years. There's cases within the database that you can pull from and get in order to engage and get better and get an understanding of how to enter Effies. There's entry webinars, there's frequently asked questions, there's advice from the jury. The Effie Index we didn't speak about, but all the gold winners within South Africa are then considered for an Effie Index, which is a global award where all gold winners are compared and they are awarded an Effie Index if they win within the Effie Index judging process. There's entry kits that will be live on our website by the 29th when we are ready to open entries. And there's also entry guidelines. So there are a lot of resources that will be available on our website. If you're not able to get any of the stuff, we've also got email addresses where you can address what your concern is or what your request is, and we'll try and give you what you need in order to enable you to easily enter the Effies. Okay. Get involved in joining the conversations on social media, through our events, through our Effie blogs. We've got a few handles. We've got the Facebook handle, we've got the Instagram handle, and we've got the LinkedIn handle, we've got Twitter, we've got YouTube. This presentation, if you miss this presentation, people will be able to find it on YouTube. Entries open on the 29th of March. Be there or be square. Questions. I'm ready for your questions, for anybody who has questions. Please ensure that you switch on your camera because we'd like to see who you are, and introduce yourself so that we can see who you are. It's easier for you to just put up your hand and we'll acknowledge you, and then you can ask your question and we'll try and answer it as best as we can. If we can't answer you, we'll revert back to you. Okay, I don't see any hands. So everybody got it. Yeehaw! I'm being Western, Texas, Western. Okay, I don't see any questions. Marinus, do you see any questions? Okay, I'm getting that everybody got it, which is fantastic. On the chat, are there questions on the chat?
There's one raised hand.
Okay. Let the raised hand, please switch on your camera, Miss Raised Hand or Mr. Raised Hand or they raised hand.
Okay. Can you see me, Marty?
Okay, please unmute yourself so we can hear you.
I have unmuted myself.
Okay, hi. Hi, Tebogo.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, thanks. Just wanted to ask, on the categories, right, when you started, you had automotive, alcohol, etc. And then there were others like influencer, marketing, and all of that, like youth specializations. So if, for instance, a brand, right, it's a car brand and targeted at the youth, so can we enter it in two categories, like automotive and then youth marketing?
You may. Remember Mpumi talked about, okay, let me explain to you so that I make it simple. There are two big categories. There's industry category, there's speciality category, all right?
Yeah.
Under industry, there are 40 to 60 categories underneath that, multiple categories. Then under speciality category, there's a multitude of categories underneath that. And Commerce and Shopper is one of the categories under speciality, but there's like 50 categories. There's a multitude of them. But in Commerce and Shopper, you're only allowed to enter the same brand twice in Commerce and Shopper, if you know what I'm saying.
So you can enter it in Commerce and Shopper, and then you can also enter it in automotive.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So when we send you the entry kit clearly articulates all of that. And also with regards to eligibility period, we didn't discuss it here. Eligibility period for entries, we've got two eligibility periods. We've got one for sustained success. Sustained success is for a longer period. So it's for 3 years, ending in 2021, February 2021. January, the 31st of January 2021, starting in 2018. So it's a 3-year period. If the campaign happened within that 3 years and it talks to sustained success, you can enter it in there. And then all other categories is a 2-year window. So it's from 2019, the 1st of February 2019 to the 31st of January 2021. So that's a 2-year window for all other categories. For sustained success, and it will tell you which ones are within sustained success that you can enter. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I've just confused people. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Tebogo. I think that's about everybody. Guys, if you have any more questions, please, please, please note, we are there to assist. We are all learning at this moment. Us, we're learning that there may be things that we didn't realize and we didn't see, and you highlight those things to us. It will be a learning for us to take forward into 2022. But it's a learning process for all of us. So I'm apologizing up front if it seems like we, people, when you're starting something, you're like, they don't know what they're doing. We are going to make mistakes somewhere, but we are going to help each other as we go along this process so that we can make this a successful Effie for all of us, for the industry, because we want to celebrate marketing effectiveness and we want to do it optimally. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for attending and giving us your time.